So our tables are resuming. It's kind of funny when you can see that on the bigger $109 game, tournament will resume in 2 minutes. And on we got the Sunday Storm, it's going to resume in 3 minutes, so. But the smaller field sizes mean that the breaks are a bit shorter. Like the break starts the 5 minutes only after every table has completed the hands, and if you are having 10 tables, of course it's going to all the tables are probably be completed in less of a time than if you have 26,000 players. And actually now I think that we need to include more tournaments. Where is the Sunday Million? Or actually, where is the Sunday Million satellite? That's the last satellite of the day that has a lot of guaranteed seats. Could you help me when the big satellite, the Sunday Million, starts? Because it should be interesting, I think, for most of us. And actually I thought that Sunday Million would start at 9 o'clock Finnish time. We are going to register the Sunday Million, but if I can find the biggest satellite to Sunday Million, I'm going to play that as well. Yeah, there's the 100 seats guaranteed. I'm going to be in it to win it. And I missed the start, so. But I'm going to probably take out this progressive knockout because there is going to be so much more happening on the Sunday Million satellite. Yeah, I mean the 100 seats guaranteed, because that's usually the softest satellite that runs, and it's at 198 seats now, so it's going to be a good one. Although I should have noticed that it has been running long time. No, just 19 minutes. So we weren't a long late, but we were still quite effectively late because it's already the blinds are so high that we only got 15 big blinds. And chance I checked the link. Hopefully that's nice wine that you have there. Having a quality Sunday evening. And thank you, Ugly Brat, that we could find the $11 satellite, because it wasn't easy to find. And sometimes they are having the VIP bashes that are also quite nice, and you are going to get great value for your FPPs if you can play a VIP bash, and that's something that I recommend if you have time. And usually the VIP bashes are during Sundays, so they will be really something interesting to grind on Sunday as well.
And good luck for Ugly Brad as well. You said that you're in that satellite too. So if you happen to be on the same table, please let us know, because then it might be a bit awkward.
Yeah, usually we are trying to avoid the people on the same table, and because on MTTs it's just so hard to get on the same table, so we are not having so much delay, because the interactivity, it's a lot better when you don't have a huge delay. I think we are still having something like a bit more than 30 seconds of delay, but that's just something that happens on the broadcast because we can't be completely live, but we are trying to be as live as we can.
But of course, if you will get into Sunday Million and to the final table, then we might add some delay into that.
Yeah, we are going to add delay if we are going to get. And there will be one knockout for us. Yay! So we got a knockout on the turbo knockout by knocking out this unhooked with aces. And I think that's the first knockout, but now we have like 5 times the starting stack. I think during Christmas I was pretty far in this $54 knockout when we had our Christmas special where we were using the webcam to see how our ham was cooking.
Yeah, it might sound a bit strange, but it's very popular in Finland that you will cook your ham many hours during the Christmas time or just before that. And we did exactly that. Instead of showing your face, you showed the ham in the oven. And some action was going on there too.
Oh, we ran against aces on the Sunday Storm on the other screen, but now we have just more space for turnies. And Aglibrat, thanks for your information. We are not going to broadcast it. If we are seeing you, we are probably switching tables because now we have some additional tables on the other screen. That's what we have done for the Finnish coachings. If there have been like some kind of suspicion, we have just switched tables most of the time. And if we are playing something that's of higher value, I think our cash game coaches, so PokeriMania, it's just not about us two. There are other great coaches as well. I think we are right now at 5 coaches. We are having Kyberi, that's coaching Pot Limit Omaha. Then we are having Zanfes, that's playing MTTs as well, is a cash game specialist. Then we are having You Lost Bro, that's playing mostly heads up sit and goes and heads up cash. So we have a heads up specialist. And also we are having Kaleon, and he's aiming for Supernova Elite, and he did almost 100,000 BPPs during January. And then we are having me as well, and I have played like every sit and go structure, and I have played a fair share of MTTs as well.
And Kaleon is playing sit and goes as well.
Yeah.
So we have covered almost all the bases. Not the most unusual ones, I guess, but we don't have anyone who's specialized in RAS or something like that. But I guess that most of the people are anyway interested in Texas Hold'em and Omaha, so we've got those covered.
On the $54 turbo knockout, I'm going to give them space to bet and hopefully catch some of the board. And now that we got quads, there is practically just like nothing that we can get value out of. Like some flush draws, and if they are thinking that we are bluffing, then we are going to get some value, but there is not a lot that hits that board because we are blocking everything to basically. So it's going to be that we have a great hand, but we are not we are never getting anything out of it.
And Kauris mentioned dishwasher salmon. That's true. We have had some weird gastronomical experiences in our past, and dishwasher salmon was probably one of the weirdest. It works pretty well, And actually, because it can be found in Wikipedia, it's a real thing and it works. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can always Google it. But mainly you can just prepare your delicious fish in a dishwasher. During the same time you can just wash your dishes, so it's like win-win situation.
It is a win-win situation. You get clean dishes and you get delicious salmon. It's cooked in low temperature, and salmon is a great fish because it's so fatty. So it's not as picky as the less fatty fishes in like perch that you can use in Finnish cuisine. And also, when we had the ham, I found out another way to make ham that is from Nigella's recipes, that you cook the ham in Coca-Cola. So
and you don't just cook, you boil it.
Yeah, you boil your ham in Coca-Cola. So we also boiled one ham, and it was really delicious, so it works. So
and I think it was even better than the original way how you prepare ham. Chance is asking if you should have checked the flop as well when you hit the quads.
I think when the turn opens flush draw, I think that I'm going to get more value out of it if I'm betting there, because then if they have a flush draw they can still call me, or they can even re-raise me at that point. But if I'm going to check and the flush draw doesn't hit, then there is like nothing that I can get value out of. Like there will be some overcards that will hit the pair so that they can get two pair. Nines should be good enough to shove here. There's just one caller, and usually when one guy bets, one guy calls with just 20 BB stacks. The 20 BB stack usually doesn't have a huge hand, but they can also have something like aces and kings that they are slowing, but they are slow playing, but not right now.
Yeah, it would have been maybe a bit too optimistic to hope a set there with deuces or threes, but well, you can only hope. But obviously it wasn't the case this time. Too bad though. But now I start to wonder if Kauris really tried that dishwasher salmon, because you said that it's working. So have you experienced that yourself?
And actually the dishwasher salmon, it was even better when we did a coriander sauce to it, because the coriander, it has the soapy aftertaste, so then it makes the bit more surreal, and it makes you second guess that what has happened in the dishwasher, or like what happens in the dishwasher stays in the dishwasher, or
gets eaten. Yeah, we might be a bit weirdos in that sense, but no worries. We don't force anyone to try our cookings. It's always optional.
On the other screen I got like the worst run out possible, and I still got the pot, but I got a small pot for kings, and that's not something I like that much.
What do you think about your situation now on the Sunday million hand satellite?
I think it's really crappy.
Yeah, there's no question about it. But what's your plan?
I'm going to cross my hands, and I'm going to hope that I can get something that I want to ship in. I think with 4 big blinds it's just too much to call with 8 deuce, but if they all fold I have to call this, because I had just 450 to call to play for 1.9k pot, so
And there's always a chance that you can win that.
yeah, that's that's why when you have a chance, you gotta use it.
Yeah.
And now we are. Now, if we were like just neck deep in P, now we are ice deep. So it's going to be hard to catch it there. Now that we are having just 1.5 big blinds, we just can't fold this when there is an option that we can get so much dead money in the pot. So it's enough for us to have the 30% equity against him. And now we got even less, but against his whole range, I think we are going to get more than 30%, and we need something like 20 something points.
Well, at least during the both times, both of your cards were alive, so that's something.
Yeah, that's something that both of our cards were alive both of the time, and also what I'm most afraid of would be that they are having an overpair to my cards, because then I'm having such a low equity that it's going to be hard for us to play it nicely. And now I'm wondering that when we have just 5 tables remaining, that should we open some more. But now I remember that in 12 minutes we are going to have a nice Sunday million going on, so do not open more tables right now. I should have opened more with King Queen off.
For Korpisoturi, I don't think we have to start pushing it by starting to have Swedish coaching sessions as well, because at least I couldn't do that. I can say a few words. Do you want to say something about this hand before?
No,
Continue.
I was just thinking that I need like 42% of equity there, and I was calculating in my head that is it going to be enough with all the things taken into account, and then I thought that if his range is going to be a sensible range, ace-10 suited would be a good call there.
Okay, there was just something that gave me a hint that you want to think out loud.
That would have been a good hand to think out loud, but I was so into what you were talking that I didn't remember what I was supposed to say.
Didn't you consider shipping that?
Force.
Yeah.
I think that pretty much without any fold equity, shipping the force would be marginal at best. So we are not going to ship it at that time, but something like sixes would have been instantly shipping it. And I'm thinking because this guy is one of the only tight players in the game. Like you can see here, pretty much the game is quite awesome because I can see so many casual players in the game, so I like these normal speed 180s a lot. Even though they don't run higher than $11, but when they run, they are always a good game.
Ugly Brat is talking about that 8 deuce offhand.
Yeah, 8 deuce suited. So, but that was only about pot odds because we needed less than 25% equity, and when the hand is suited, we are going to get it even against a tight range that the opponent could ship there. And I think there could be something in the Swedish coaching, but also it's going to be that I'm not going to do it as well. I think that with some practice, if we are going to Sweden for something like 2 weeks, we could do it, but like I have been in the Swedish speaking military in Finland for my military service. It was 2003, so it's just 11 years ago. It's not that long ago.
No, I used to be pretty fluent in Swedish, but it was at least that many years ago. And now that I haven't spoken Swedish in so many years, I think it wouldn't work out. I can just say, jag kan inte tala svenska, yeah, and that's it. But I think it's better to have that in English. But if there are any volunteers, you can always send us some message, and we will definitely consider your suggestion. It's not completely out of the book, but don't try to hold your breath waiting that from us.
Yeah, we are trying to do some stuff in English, so that there will be a larger audience, perhaps in the English side of things. So we are trying to broaden our horizons, but on the Swedish side of poker, I don't know much. We met some Swedes in the PCA, and when they talked with each other, it was quite easy to understand the Swedish, but it was hard to speak, and it's something that only gets better if you are playing or if you are speaking a lot of Swedish. So that's something that's going to be. And Kauris will not be here when we talk about poker in Swedish. I think most Finns hate Swedish. It's a bit like now we live in Estonia, and most of the Estonians our age have been forced to learn Russia. They are having the same feelings on Russia as we are in Finland having on Swedish. Like, Swedish is something that's compulsory to learn, but like if you are visiting Sweden, most of the Swedes, they understand enough English, so you don't need to use Swedish like anywhere. And in corporate speak, like most of the companies that are both Finnish and Swedish, they are having their company language in English. Something like Nordea, a bank, they are having their corporate language in English, so there is very little that you can't achieve in Sweden.
And I think there are quite often the situation that if you go to Sweden and start to speak in Swedish, and if that's not perfect, the Swedish people will automatically translate and switch to English, because then they can guarantee that they understand what you are speaking. So even though you wanted to speak in Swedish, it's not always the case that the Swedish people will talk to you in Swedish, which is kind of weird.
It's worse with like the Finland's Swedish population, because they usually know how to speak Finnish as well, and if you are trying to speak Swedish to them, it's going to be easier for them to switch the language to Finnish. So it's going to be hard to learn Swedish in Finland, even though if you want to.
And if there is someone who doesn't know, Finland is bilingual. Is that the correct word?
Yeah, bilingual.
Bilingual country. So Swedish is official our second language, and that's the reason why we have to learn that when we are growing up.
Ugly Brat, I think most of our coaches are selling private coachings in English as well, but we haven't yet been able to make the coaching announcements in English. So we will be doing it in the future for the English speaking community as well, but right now we have not yet been managed to do so. 9 queen off. It's slightly interesting, because I think that it's going to be a profitable shove, and I don't know if it's going to be even more profitable to min-raise fold against sticking sideways and min-raise call against Kovacs, so I took the easier option now. But that's something that I'm thinking a lot. That 9 queen is, on the other hand, it's the medium strength hands, but I'm then thinking if it's too weak to be more profitable to push or min raise fold.
I would have done the same, to be honest, but I like my easy options, and perhaps maybe too much so.
And ugly brat, I don't think that we are having on the Finnish side of things. I have offered some public private coachings that will have the other player to come in during our stream, so that there will be a public chat and there will be a public showing of hands, and that has been a cheaper option. That's more viable option for a $4 average buy-in player. And I think that if we are getting more MTT players as our coaches, we are going to have something more interesting for the MTT players as well.
And by the way, all of our coachings are available at our YouTube channel, and the previous MTT coaching in English is there also, but all the rest of them are in Finnish. But if you are willing to learn some Finnish or just want to see what's going on there to get an idea what we usually do, please go and check those out. And you can find our channel at www.youtube.com/PokeriMania.
I think there will be something also in the top banner in our English site that should show you the right direction.
Yes.
Because he has been so wide, I think 8s are going to be, and it's only 25 hands, but you can see a trend there. And ace-6 suited is a horrible raise call, but that's how you make money on the MTTs. You are getting it in usually well at the beginning stages, and on the later stages you are going to steal like your life depends on it.
And since you are a sit and go player by heart, you know what a good stealing feels like, and you are accustomed to do so.
I'm going to try to put the Finnish private coachings on the... All of our coaches have been coaching in English, our English clients as well, so you can use Google Translate, but I'm not guaranteeing that you are seeing the right thing, because some of our coaches are using pretty colorful language, and colorful Finnish is something that's horribly hard for Google Translate to work on.
And anyway, any kind of Finnish writing is really difficult for Google Translate. So you might get an idea, but it's not like translating from Spanish to English, for example. It just gets really weird, because Finnish is not that simple of a language. But I hope you get some kind of idea of what we are offering there. And we will make those announcements of English coaching later on when we get the translations from our coaches.
And also, we are right now, the English side is just 1 week old, so we are not, or it's less than 1 week old, so we are still improving the English side of things, so don't be scared when we don't have everything ready yet.
Kauris, I think the word that you are looking for Sian Saksa is gibberish.
No, it's going to be Pig Latin.
Ah, yeah.
So it's not German. It would be Pig German if it would be directly translated from. And this is going to be an interesting spot to be overbet bluffing. Because I think that we are having the weaker hand here, but we are not thinking that he would have anything to call us. But if we are going to put in a half a pot raise, he can then still have enough in his stack that he could think that we are folding, so we are now eliminating bluffs from his options completely by shoving ourselves, even though it's I think it's slightly a special play, but those are some of the special plays that you should include in your game when you know what you are doing.
Should we write that pick Latin for Kauris so he can use that later on the poker tables? Eli Sian Latina suomeksi in Finnish.
But so on the English chat you can see our poker coaches, they are in blue, our team of moderators are in green, and our regular members are in red, and Dayah as our administrator will be in pink. So I
or
think
Pride Fuchsia. That's one thing that we are always fighting about, the colors and their specific names. But yeah, pink.
I'm usually telling her that men are a bit like old Windows computers. There is only 16 colors available. You can say that something is red, yellow, green, pink. Pink is also, it's kind of pushing it, but there aren't more than 16 colors that a person can reliably know. And like for females, it's something like 16.7 million colors. They are thinking the world in true color, and there is like, you can say something like, this is autumn kind of orange in the first weeks of August. And you are like then thinking, WTF is that?
Yeah, it's only you. All the rest of the world knows what the autumn colors are.
I need to get some support from the male community here that when women are decorating, they are describing the colors that you have no idea that the color even exists, that they are not making it up. Like, and usually if they have a fancy sounding color, the color also has a fancy price.
So that's the reason why you are so afraid of my ideas regarding the colors. But it's kind of tough because you also have your opinion. You are not like most of the guys that always just say that, okay, do whatever you want to do. I don't know if you changed the curtains or dyed your hair, but you have your own eye for the color, even though it's a bit different. So I cannot do everything what I want, and that's why I'm asking your opinions as well, even though it's sometimes it makes things a little bit more difficult.
This is interesting when I know that Kauris is using Google Translate, and there's some roasts should be informed that speak English. Yeah, that there are some, I think he's mentioning usually the casual players from Brazil or some other country that like their own language as the best language.
And roast must be feisty.
Yeah, casual player.
See, Kauris, we know what you think. No worries, you can keep on chatting.
And Korpistori can only notice is the color red or green. Red is bad and green is happy. Greetings, you lost bro. Welcome to our special Sunday evening.
So I should ask Chanfes for decoration tips. Yeah.
Or Chanfes's fiancée or wife.
No, it was Chanfes who bought the curtains in their grinding.
What?
Yeah, it was his doings. Definitely. Yeah, he said that.
What?
Yeah, Chanfes is one of our coach, and he has a grinding office with two of his friends, and we visited that place 3 months ago, and it was kind of like a man cave-ish place, but there were curtains that were quite a nice green color, and there was one flower that was almost alive, and I gave some compliments for him for decorating that place that much.
It's good that you try.
But I think I wouldn't go as far as asking help from him, to be honest. But it was a good effort.
For the bigger $109, I think it's quite close with 15 big blinds. When there is enough of antes and also in blinds, I think that it's a bit more plus EV to just ship it. I don't know if it's more plus EV to fold or ship it, but calling is pretty much not an option when you are having this little stack left. And then we are going against aces, and as usual, going against aces sucks, and we are getting out of that tournament as well.
Tough luck.
But we are almost in the money for the $55 turbo knockout.
Can you show the lobby of it?
Yeah, just a moment. There is 5-figure payout for the winner, so it's going to be awesome, hopefully.
Because
and there are safe payouts, or if I make a deal on the final table, we can avoid spending most of it having an awesome trip to somewhere in the world.
Avoid!
Yeah.
Avoid! What are you talking about? You don't want to go to a warm place with me. Do you know how cold it is outside? It's
No, and I don't wanna hear about it.
Because it's way too cold to go outside. That should say enough. And there has been snowing for last day or so. So actually, if you want to go outside, you probably have to do some snow work.
Oh well. I did it yesterday, but more snow, more problems. I think we are having quite nice stacks on a few tables. On the knockout we are not having as large stack as we would hope. But when we see that there are 172 players remaining and the smallest stack is 0, we know that we are doing our first in the money finish from the $54 turbo knockout today.
Let's hope it will be the not last one and just the beginning of the rise till the final table.
If that's the only one, but it's a good final table position, I don't mind. But if it's the only one and it's min cashes, then it's going to be an expensive Sunday for me.
Yeah. But let's not worry about that at the moment.
Yeah. Hello, Boikki. Welcome to the English side of things.
Ugly Brat probably got so confused about that PokeriMania.com Finnish site that he just lost a will to write anymore to our chat there.
Corpistry, I think also the ace queen off. It's quite standard there, but ace jack off is probably going to be a bit too bad. I'm surprised that Google Translate works pretty well, but I don't think that Google Translate is the way to go with Finnish stuff, especially if you are trying to purchase something, because Google Translate can mangle the prices. And if Google Translate mangles the prices, then it's going to be a bit difficult. But as I said, if you are interested in some coach, you can always send them a private message, and I think most of them will be pleased to tell you more in English before making a decision, and before we can make something up for the English side as well. And on the Finnish side, you can see that most of our coaches, they are having video previews on what there will be in their coachings, and we are trying to do that in English as well, when we are getting our coaches to do some English stuff as well.
And sittaristruktuuri, it's combined with two words, sittari and struktuuri. And sittari is sit and go game. Struktuuri is a structure, as you could probably guess. And if you see some other weird words that you definitely need to know, you can always write them down and we can translate those for you.
So if Mido is online, we can always just say that se ei ole lihtnerääkki eestikeeles. It's not simple for us. We can understand pretty much all the Estonian that there is when we have lived in Estonia for about 2 years. But speaking Estonian, it's still incredibly hard. And Estonia, it's the same problem as with Sweden, that most of the Estonians, if they are young ones, they are speaking great English, and if they are a bit older, they are speaking great Finnish because they have learned it from TV that run, because the Finnish TV, you could watch it in Estonia during the Soviet times when the TV wasn't so good in the Estonian side. Actually, there is a good movie about the Finnish television in Estonia. Disko ja tuumasoda.
Actually, it was kind of funny. I went to a furniture shop some few days ago, and there was old lady, maybe some 50 years old or so, and I asked her whether she speaks English or Finnish, and she said that nope, but she can understand Finnish, but only speak in Estonia or Russia. So I spoke in mainly Finnish for her, she spoke to me in Estonian, and she knew what I said and I knew what she said, and we got everything sorted out. So it was kind of funny in that sense that we could both get by without speaking the same language, even though they are close, but they are not that close that if I had been here in Estonia for only 2 days, I wouldn't have understood much, but now it goes pretty well.
This is also interesting. We opened UTG, that's pretty much a speculative open, and when he 3-bets us small, I think there is still profitability for us to call. And then on the top right, I hate this spot when button opens small blind 3-bets and we are getting an option to 4-bet it in. Actually, when it's button against small blind, I think we need to go there, because I think the small blind will be shoving something like ace-9 suited, ace-10 off, probably all the pairs and crap.
Including aces.
All the pairs including aces, so...
Tough luck.
But do you know what?
We still got some more tables.
Yeah, we are having some more tables.
But I think it would have been too weak if you hadn't pushed that, since it was button and small blind play. So it just screams too much of a position play anyway.
Yeah, and we were quite unlucky that he woke up with aces there.
Again. Unlucky again, but
I think that was third or fourth time today that we have been playing against aces, and we have lost every single one of those. But it happens. Markus, it depends on what tournament you are going in. If you are going to the tournament that is the tournament for Finns, like Suomi-turnaus, then you can get by with Finnish so that they are using only dealers that know how to speak Finnish. And also then table language can be Finnish. But in general games, I think that you are in general games, I think that they are only trying to get by with Estonian and English, and so you are probably not going to understand everything in table chatter, and you won't be able to discuss with your friends in Finnish. But I think they are more relaxed with their rules than, for example, in the Finnish casino.
but generally speaking, you can hear Estonian and Russian at the poker tables here in Tallinn, and they are both allowed, I guess, and English.
It's going to be hard for us in 11 minutes when the daily challenge all in shootout will be beginning, and there will be over 60,000 players. So if you are not yet used your daily challenge tickets, you should be registering in the daily challenge now, because it's going to be one of the latest possible days to use your tickets. So use your tickets, because they are no good to you after the promotion has gone by.
And there isn't even 60,000 players yet. Good value. Hard to beat.
Well, it's like there is going to be, and we are having a crappy spot in the Sunday Million. We are going to be 4-betting, and depends on if he's going to be 5-betting. Actually, if he's 5-bet shoving, I think that he would have more weaker hands. If we c-bet this flop, we are going to get like kings and jacks to fold, but kings are the only part of the range I think that he has that would be good for us to make folds, so I'm going to check it. And now he's going to have less aces in his range, so I'm going to bet it now on the turn. And I think only a small bet will suffice, because also our hand screams that we are going to have an ace there.
Jacks, nines.
Jacks, nines. A bit surprising that he doesn't fold jacks there. And that's also one part that we are losing value. And I'm hating it here in the turbo knockout. We haven't had a hand in ages, and we are drying up.
Boik is asking, in what range are you going in from big blind with your 3 big blind stack?
Actually, why I didn't go in with 5s?
There is a mean bet from Uteke, UTG, showing.
That's still that should be close. And with 7-2 suited, it's just too weak. But I'm going in with something like top 30% of my range. So like, I'm not going in with any ace because I think that against two guys that they are having aces. But I'm going in with any suited ace, like ace 6 plus. Then I'm going in with practically any good Broadway, a lot of good suited Broadways and Broadways with something like down to something like King 8 suited and 10 8 suited, 9 8 suited, that are getting decent equity against these guys' most probable ranges, because in three-way pots you are going to get more equity with the suited hand. And yeah, 5-5 would be probably a good call. So, and I think also the 8-9 suited wasn't a good open in the bigger 22. It's going to be spooky in the long run. And that's also why it's good that you chat, because I'm making mistakes here as well. And I think that I'm making even more mistakes when I'm trying to explain stuff. And one thing that I have noticed when I'm doing coaching, when I'm explaining somewhere why I folded something, it's incredibly hard to do any other decision in the tables than fold. So, and there is also good that there's discussion, because it's going to be better if we are thinking about the optimal lines and not about what I just did. In the Sunday Million we can set mine this against two loose guys, and I think that we are going to get a lot of value from them if we are going to hit a set. And I'm going to let them bet. There is not a lot of bad cards, tens, jacks, but I think that we are going to try to get as much money in as possible. And as we can see, the Sunday Million, it's an awesome game going on right now. I think my table is just awesome. I think I would like to play with every single one of these players.
That's a good start, definitely.
And now we are heads up against the guy that bets, and we are going to give him space to bet. And still I don't think that the card is that bad, so we are going to give him space to 3-barrel, and we are trying to get it in. And we are very lucky in that he hit 2-pair.
Awesome. He probably wouldn't have called that shipping without the other pair.
Yeah. And Ugly Brat is from Switzerland. You are speaking in 4 different languages. Yeah, we have our resident bassist, Markus Y. And in Finnish there is the same language for, or same word for string and for language, and there is a usual joke that what's common with bassists and an outsider in Switzerland, and it's going to be 4 foreign languages or 4 foreign strings for a bassist. But like in Finland, I think that the more probable second language or more spoken second language would be English instead of Swedish. And my hat is off to you in Switzerland if you are speaking all the 4 languages and English as well. So it's a pretty awesome achievement.
Definitely. But Leningrad Cowboys, is that the only thing you know about Finland? That's kind of weird, but good, I guess.
And I think the $22 Hold'em is also going to a break in just a moment. And we saw Eric Wine like shipping 3 times the pot here, which usually combined with his statistics means that he's going to be a player I like to play more against. And we are now going to a break. We are going to be back when the tables resume, so we'll see you in about 5 to 4 minutes.